All right, y'all, so I am back with a quick video, man. Now, today I thought I would jump in here and talk to you guys real quick about my most used piece of gear on this channel to create these videos. And you guys already probably know exactly what it is, man, but that is my Sony ZV-1. Now, we are getting closer to the end of the year. Christmas is coming up, and a lot of people are going to be jumping into content creation. And I just thought that it would be real cool to go ahead and revisit the Sony ZV-1. And on top of that, I got a comment maybe about 3 weeks ago where someone was asking me to go back over the wide angle lens attachment for the Sony ZV-1. And I thought I'd just kind of roll all that into this video and give you guys a handful of reasons why this is still my most used piece of gear on this channel. Let's do it. Okay, so one of the first reasons why, and these are in no particular order, that I love the ZV-1 and why it is still my most used piece of gear on this channel is because of the size, the weight, and how compact this camera is, all right? It's always in my camera bag with a handful of batteries. I can throw it in my front pocket. I can throw it in my back pocket. It's always in my glove compartment or in my like armrest or something like that, but it's always with me. And what I love about this camera the most, being that it's so small, is that I have this little mount that I use in my car, and I can easily put the mount on the window and just screw my ZV-1 in, which I'll show you guys in another video. And I can even get some nice car shots with this camera because it's so small. This camera can fit in almost any little spot that you need it to fit in to get the shot that you're looking for. So if you're doing B-roll and you just need a small camera to sit somewhere in a little awkward spot, this camera can get that done for you. I really love this camera just based off of the size and the weight. And again, just how compact this camera is. So if I had to recommend the camera to somebody based off of the size and how much it weighs and stuff like that, I will always send people to the Sony ZV-1 just for that reason alone. The second reason why I feel like the Sony ZV-1 is my most used piece of gear is the video quality. Now, this camera came out a while ago. We're going into 2025, and I still feel, even going into 2025, that this camera still has some really good video quality, and it takes great photos as well. But as far as the video quality, you can shoot all the way up to, what, 4K 30 on this thing right here, and it still looks really, really crispy and really good. Again, you can get really nice B-roll shots with this as well. And on top of that, you can vlog with this camera, even with or without the wide angle lens attachment, which we'll talk about in a hot minute. But even without the wide angle lens attachment, you just got to get, you know, a bigger, a longer selfie stick or something like that. But this camera can really just get it done. And that video quality on this thing is still crispy. You can still shoot 1080, 60, 4K 30, 4K 24, all of the frame rates. And I just feel like the video quality out of this thing is still holding up, even going into 2025. I guarantee you a lot of people are still going to be buying this little camera just based off of the video quality alone. And my third reason why I love the ZV-1 has to be the photo quality. This camera, for content creation purposes, takes really nice thumbnails. So imagine it has good video quality, and on top of that, you can get really nice thumbnail shots out of this. So it's kind of like a little complete compact package to get your video work done and your photo work done with this camera. So if you just want a small camera that can do photo and video and kind of run your YouTube channel, then this camera right here will be that little camera for you. All right, but it does take really, really nice photos, whether that be outside, whether that be in the studio, whether that just be, you know, you walking around, you just want to get a couple of quick shots of just random stuff. This camera can do that for you, but I really highly recommend it for shooting thumbnails. Now, one of the fourth reasons why I love this camera and why it's one of my most used pieces of gear is because you don't have to change the lenses on this camera. This is one of those pick up and go type cameras. Now, granted, they do have the wide angle lens attachment. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. But for the most part, this is a camera that you just pick up like this and you just take it and you go. And whatever you need to get done, you just get done with this camera with no additional lenses. It's a fixed lens. You ain't got to worry about swapping out lenses and all of that stuff. This camera is just one of those cameras that can just get it done for you. Now, granted, obviously, if you're doing something that's a little bit more professional and stuff like that, and you need to change your lenses and stuff, then this camera won't be for you. But just using this camera for what it is and just taking advantage of what this camera has to offer, this is a really great camera to use, and you don't have to change those lenses. So that's a plus for the Sony ZV-1. So I think we're on my fifth reason by this point, right? And my fifth reason that I love the Sony ZV-1 is the fact that you can attach this wide angle lens to the Sony ZV-1 and give yourself a little bit more with the shot on the Sony ZV-1. So if you wanted to vlog or something like that and you felt like the shot was a little bit too tight, you could throw this wide angle lens right here by Ulanzi. You could throw that right here on the Sony ZV-1, and then you can get a little bit more field of view with the Sony ZV-1 for your vlogging and stuff like that. But mind you, you might need to get something like this L bracket right here to rock with the ZV-1, and that would just fit on there just like that. So just keep that in mind. Get you an L bracket and get you the Ulanzi wide angle lens, And I promise you, you will love your Sony ZV-1 just as much as I do. So I think we're on reason number 6 now. Hopefully we're on 6. But anyway, my 6th reason why I love the ZV-1 is because this is a great camera for top-down shots. Static top-down shots. And that's what I really use this camera for a lot here on the channel. I use it on my top-down angle for any time I'm doing unboxings and things like that. If I'm doing a live stream and I want a top-down shot, this camera is that camera that can get it done. I used to use my iPhone a lot for my top-down shots, but again, I stepped away from using my phone for content creation, and the ZV-1 has taken the place of my iPhone 15 for top-down shots. So I really highly recommend this camera to get you those top-down shots. And on top of that, it has that product showcase on this camera. So them top-down shots with the product showcase, man, it's just a win all in itself. So I highly recommend this camera right here for top-down shots. Now my final reason, and I think we're on number 7, all right, but this is my final reason why I use the Sony ZV-1 and why it is still my most used piece of gear here in this office, is the fact that it is a complete package and it's great for small office studio work. You see what I mean? From the fact that the video quality looks good, from the fact that the photo quality looks good, from the fact that it's a top-down shot type camera. You can place this anywhere in your office. You're going to get good thumbnails out of this. You can easily run your whole channel off of a Sony ZV-1 depending on what you're actually doing for the content that you're shooting, right? Like for instance, if you're out and you doing nature photography and stuff like that, then no, this camera's not gonna work for that. If you out trying to shoot some feature films, this camera's not gonna work for that. But if you're doing talking head shots here in your office, right? And you just need a little bit of B-roll and you just need a little bit of top-down shots, kind of like how I do, then the ZV-1 is more than capable and is more than enough to get that done for you. So again, those are some of the reasons why I feel like the Sony ZV-1 is still my most used piece of gear here going into 2025. And again, I feel like a lot of people are still going to be using this camera. This camera will still be relevant heading all the way up until 2026 and on and on and on, I promise you, because this camera will stand the test of time just based off of the video quality and the photo quality. So I want you to drop me a comment below and let me know what's your most used piece of gear that you have in your small studio and or office. Now, hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys in some way. And if you did find it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's been your man Jay, and I'm gonna jump up out of here. Peace.